मनोमणि महायोगे वागेश्वरे नमो नमः वाग्यै वरदहस्तायै वरदायै नमो नमः वेदायै वेदरूपायै वेदान्तायै नमो नमः गुणदोषविवर्जिन्यै गुणदीप्ते नमो नमः सर्वज्ञाने सदानन्दे सर्वरूपे नमो नमः सम्पन्नायै कुमार्यै च सर्वज्ञे नमो नमः. So we are now continuing our journey as Namaste, Namaste everybody. Namaste Sharda ji, Namaste Reshma ji, Juhi ji, Vaishali ji, Chitra ji, Rachna ji, Usha ji, and Mehta ji. Namaskar. So we are now going to continue our journey into Maheshwaris. We are looking at the powers of the goddess Maheshwari. Can someone recollect anything? Anything that we have seen last? We form the link and move ahead. Yes, please. Anybody? Yes, it is our usual. We have to form the link, then we can move ahead. Yes, please.
I'll
All right.
start.
Yes, Chitraji. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
we saw the powers of goddess Maheshwari. So we saw from the representation that you showed and also the description. So she possesses endless wisdom, and the working is above the mind or the higher states of mind. And then she's the definition of calmness, peace, purity, and silence, and holds the knowledge of all and helps and aids in expanding our thinking dimension. Um, and she cannot be misled, and she is unmoved by those by our whims and fancies, and she is unbiased and rewarded or punished based um, on the I mean rewarded by a rise in our consciousness or punished based on the deeds. So these were some of the things that we saw last
Ji.
class.
Yes, ji. Thank you, Chitraji. So yes, we saw about anybody would like to add something more to what Chitraji has said? Any other point you wish to add?
She knows past, present, and the future.
Yes. She
That
has
is,
got
she
that
what was, what is, and
knowledge.
what will be,
Ji.
and she
Ji.
every nuance of the manifestation she
Yes.
knows.
Yes. And this comes from what can we guess, Reshma ji? This comes to her because of by virtue of her vastness, her experience, her highest state of consciousness. Many
Basically,
times,
present everywhere,
yes, yes,
absolute
yes.
state of consciousness. Yes.
Yes, so generally, like with omnipresence comes also omniscience. You also, when you are, it's like you are present everywhere, then you will, when you are conscious, you know, isn't it? The basic aspect of knowing something is becoming conscious of it. And this is the goddess who is so vast in her consciousness, yet she is containing everything inside of it. So this is something about Maheshwari. What we also, I think we also require sometime this insight. In life, we have moments where we get trapped. Trapped in what? In the flux of the events. One after the other things keep happening. Suddenly something happens, it's not in your control. Another thing happens, it's not in your control. And what happens? Life generally throws you off balance. It happens to the strongest amongst us. We don't have to be, we can say, doing something wrong, or we can say, people say, I've done some papa, or some people have the tendency of, I have done wrong. And it is actually the nature of life. Continuously, things are thrown at us, and that pushes us off. And in that flux, we get more confused, and in that confusion, we lose sight of what we are doing, where are things heading, What is going to happen? These are all questions of uncertainty. And that time, I think we need to try to invoke the calmness of Maheshwari. And how is she? She is there. She's there to help. She's there to help in raising our consciousness. How can this help us? Calmness? Well, we just underestimate the power of calmness because calmness is in silence, isn't it? Silence is always drained by noise, but silence cannot be defeated by noise. Noise will lose its steam very quickly. And this silence is sometimes required for us to go deep inside and receive an insight. A friend of mine, a close sister, both of them, two different people, they both got very bad medical reports, which talked about cancer. And it was like third stage. Now, what is this? This is a sudden shock, isn't it? Nowhere was there light visible. Somehow, both of them, both heroines, both somehow learned to take one step back. Immediately, they did not get the answer. I mean, it was not that suddenly answer has been found, but slowly, slowly, it was over a period of year. Chemotherapy also took place for both of them, but they got out of it. They got out of it. Both are now having a nice life. Both at that time, it did not look like their smallest dreams of even getting married, starting a family would ever materialize. Forget all of that. Will I have 4 months to live? Was the burning question that time. But slowly, slowly, in all the physical pain, mental pain, emotional, all of it, they learned how to come out. Some force, some divine guidance was taking them. And they know that if that guidance they had not received, then they would have gone into a different path that would have been a downward spiral and never would they have come out. So they found that light, they found that quietude to deal with things. And that is what we can say connecting with Maheshwari does. We have to try to reach that silence because then we get the higher insight. With the higher insight comes clarity, and with clarity we also slowly start even getting clairvoyance also. These are all siddhis of rishis. And how did they receive it? They received it by going deep into the dhyana, deep into that silence. And this is trait of Maheshwari. So we saw about how Maheshwari, she is supporting. She is supporting every seeker. She is there. She is not what we can say harsh, or she's just too vast that we don't understand. We don't really understand the force of Maheshwari, but she is there. She never tries to withdraw, and it is her presence which is there, which brings peace. And one more thing is, she is not, we can say, fooled by the ignorance. Many times we are having a small amount of ignorance, and that ignorance is utilized. Ignorance could be out of not knowing, ignorance could be out of attachment, ignorance could be out of emotions, one or the other. Some facet of us is little, we can say, weak, and that is utilized by somebody else. We become manipulated by that only. But this is one force, this is one goddess who is not going to be shaking because she is always in that truth consciousness, which is the highest. So from there she works, and that is where her entire operating principle is also. It is about that supreme truth. We saw that she increases the luminance, isn't it, in the wise? We stopped at the 18th verse. I think everybody, yes, do you agree that we stopped at the 18th line, isn't it, of the poem? We continue from the 19th one. So we saw what she does for those who are sincere, those who are on the right path, those who are, we can say, not just no amount of deceit is there. What is she doing? She's granting wisdom, and she is granting a wisdom that will allow the person to grow further. This is grace. Wisdom also comes by grace only. And one of the aspects for becoming patra for that grace is to have humility. With humility, we become calm, and in that calmness only, that flow, which is actually a direct flow of consciousness. It is said in so many scriptures. Dadami buddhi yogam tam is what Krishna has said. I will grant you a wisdom, he says. And that wisdom will grant uniqueness to you. That will set you apart. And what will be? That will be my presence only. Like there is a Shishya of, there was a Shishya of Shankaracharya. His name was Giri. He did not have that high wisdom, which was, he was not respected by everybody because he did not have any of it. But he had so much sincerity, and one day, by grace, he suddenly got that inspiration and he remembered his guru is calling, and there's a big story behind it. But in that spur of the moment, he receives wisdom and he composes one ashtakam, which is in a difficult Sanskrit rhythmic meter called Totaka meter. That ashtakam is called Totaka Ashtakam, and this person's name now changes. He later on is called Totakacharya. He then becomes the Mathadipati. How did this happen? Someone who didn't have a faculty, someone who didn't have the talent. It is all not necessary. You don't need to have a basic base faculty also to receive the grace. Grace will flow through you and things will happen. And that is what Maheshwari does. Her vastness, it widens our consciousness. Subjects which are difficult start appearing similar, like easy. This, I think, everybody must have experienced. Almost everybody must have experienced reading Sri Aurobindo's books or words. First time reading Sri Aurobindo's words and afterwards reading it made a difference or not? I think I can tell from my case. First time I read, nothing. It flew over my head only, I can say. I went to my teacher and asked him, he said, no, wait. Said, it's all right, just read without understanding, it's okay. Either your brain cells will start getting ready without your knowledge. That time I didn't think I did not really think too much about it. How will this happen and all of it. But afterwards, and I think everybody has that experience. Is there anybody who shares a similar sentiment that share in those words when you read again? A little later, they start becoming wider. Inside of you start beginning to understand newer meanings. Yes, anyone? If you can just share. Yes, please. Anybody?
Yeah, can I?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
you.
this is in regard to one of his famous verses in Sanskrit, Bhavani Bharati.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
we were actually helping the children learn about it,
Uh,
and
in your
of
school,
course,
is it?
especially during 15th, yeah, in our school, 15th
Okay.
August, because it was pretty apt, particularly celebrating
Hmm.
150 years. So
Hmm.
what actually happened was the zeal was absolutely there, but when we went with first verse and the second, we particularly myself, without knowing Sanskrit, it was only
Ha,
those rhythms kept coming. But even the
ha, ha.
Sanskrit teacher was like, Didi, what is this? I mean, this is something which I am not able to connect to. Then we all together had to go to the. I personally went to the translations while he read it again and again. And third or fourth time we understood, especially when he asked the people to wake up. It is in similar lines with what Swami Vivekananda says in Arise Awake, Stop Not. But
Mhm.
Sri Aurobindo's is more powerful when he says Bho.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not able to say those
Okay.
verses, but those verses
Ji,
are
ji.
extremely powerful. And then as I read, I also could connect to the fact that why he must have written this.
Hmm.
Basically because there was a kind of danger. Britishers were looking to just put
Mhm.
him,
Yeah.
capture him and all. So best thing that he did was select Sanskrit, that too most probably uh, difficult one, and then he writes all these 99 and a half verses, and that is even relevant till date. Something
Yes.
absolutely
Yes. Yes.
amazing.
So this, yes, yes, Reshma. And I think even when we sit for meditation or we go to do dhyana and when we get an experience, what is the next reaction after that experience? It is just silence. Each of us gets different type of experience. Sometimes some people get to see things, some people feel things, sometimes their thoughts only change. They become very quiet. That is why it is said dhyana is required for the same purpose, widening of consciousness. And when you after that experience, you have no other no thought. No, and Krishna talks about it in a shlok. He says, "Na kinchid api chintaye." not a single thoughtlessness. That state is because what is happening is it's an internal process that takes place where the consciousness is now starts, it starts widening and that experience starts settling inside of you. It's actually a process. So this is the process which is initiated by the power. If we want to call it by a name, why has Sri Aurobindo given these four names? Is because it is for us. It is not that this is the Aadhaar card of this Devi, this is the other Aadhaar card, this name has been registered here. It is not like that. It is for us. It is for us to connect with that power. Because this is our entire why we are approaching, because we want to connect and we want to utilize it. Because when we are receiving, we enter into one state and then the divine consciousness will work. Now, who can the divine consciousness work through? Can it work only through the prime minister of the country and not for the person on the road? No, it can happen to every single person. I gave prime minister as an example of the highest post we can talk about. So there is no post which is higher or lower for the divine work. That is why it was talked about. So that means we also means it may be a conversation I am having, a conversation with another person, but that conversation can lead to something else if it is a divine conversation. It can lead to something, some manifestation of a divine will. If it's a gossip, it will lead to nothing. It will just generate further, what we can say, action reaction cycles only. But this is possible, and for that, we need to connect with Maheshwari. If we want to start a new creation, you are going to give a talk somewhere, you are going to just, you want some change in life. All of these things are why we have to connect with Maheshwari and her vastness. So, with this, we are ready. We are ready to enter into some more description of how Maheshwari is. We saw that some who are blessed with a rise in consciousness is because she has understood. She has understood where there is no chal, no kapat, there is clarity of heart, there is clarity of purpose. Such people are easily blessed with the rise in consciousness. So you want to rise, you want to go ahead, simple. Stay clear on the inside. You don't have to, you cannot fool the divine. Somebody else may think you are so nice because you are projecting your personality. But the divine cannot be fooled by it. So that is one. And so the luminance grows, the teja grows. But then some receive her punishment. So we'll continue from the 19th line, 19th verse. Let's continue. For the wrongdoers, she delivers consequences proportional, and to the ignorant, she eggs them on to a blind path detrimental. Each man she deals uniquely, as per his own nature internal, their needs, aspiration, and receptivity, analyzes the mother supernal. To those who heed her call, she exerts the right pressure to transform. To ignoramuses seeking freedom, she lets them disappear and deform. So you see, because she is not emotional, she is in that high state. So if you are walking on the path of ignorance, you are not going to reach what they say ignorance is bliss, isn't it? You will have only pseudo bliss, and instead you will suffer because of that ignorance. And she will not intervene, meaning she's allowing those to fall. And what kind of mother is this then? She's allowing her children to fail. Anybody? Is that fair? Is that unfair? Yes?
Yeah,
Anybody?
it's proportional as it is given in the
Ah,
first line itself.
yes, it's proportional, isn't it? She's not
Yeah.
she's not some mother who's going to, even if the child is wrong, because this is my child. My child is correct. Neighbor's child is always wrong. My child is always right. It's not like that. She is the divine mother. She is
She's
not going to
the
spare.
exact mother, unconditional
Yes,
mother
yes.
who also is very. particular about the progress of the child, basically.
Yes, yes. But if the child says, I will not listen, I will not walk, I want to go on this path which is wrong, she will not stop.
Mhm.
She will not stop. That is the very much in the Upanishad also we have a verse. Andhaha tamaha pravishanti. Yekecha atmano jana. Those people who are going against their own will, they go into a dark cave of dark ignorance. Ratnaji wants to add something? Yes, please.
No, the similar thing I was saying that
Yes.
she will not simply uh, just keep granting anything. It will be according to the nature of what you are doing. It is exactly
Yes.
the same thing.
She analyzes three things. One is the need. Yes,
Is it
Minitaji wants to say something.
is it that she wants you to learn from your mistakes?
Yeah,
You make
absolutely. Absolutely, Vinitaji. It is for learning. It is for learning. We all underestimate failure or we sometimes shun failure. But I think that also should be something which should be embraced without worry. Failure also you can learn from them, isn't it? Failure teaches. But the thing is, consciously, willingly, if you go and fail, then we're not really going to learn too much from that. But when you take effort, so that is why she analyzes the three things. First, she analyzes the need. Next, the aspiration. And third, receptivity. These three, how are they connected? Also, it's very interesting. First is a need. Need of what? Is she looking at what is your FD balance? I'm going to look at that need or this need. What is it? It is she is looking at the soul word growth, soul's growth. She does not see anything else, and from her high consciousness, everything else is puny. Everything else is insignificant. She only cares about your growth, your chetana, consciousness should rise. That is all her aim is. So from there, from that high plane, maybe we may think, what is this? I am not getting what I want, all of it. It does not matter. She's not going to get, moved by your emotions also. And she's a very silent teacher. Means we have different type of teachers. I think if we go back to our memories in school, we must be having some very strict ones. Some of them who are very casual, like you don't have to worry. "Ah, I have not done my homework. You go happily say you're not worried at all because this teacher is not going to give you a punishment. But she's a just teacher. She's somebody who is going to see and give you a proportionally. You are not going to get grace marks. You're not going to get two less marks also. Exactly what you have written. It is not depending on our mood. Otherwise, there were some teachers, no? They had fights at their homes, and those fights would reflect in the correction. The students would not understand what did they do wrong. Well, it is not like that. This is proportional. So, need. What is the need of the sadhak? What is the need of the seeker? She looks at it. She analyzes it. So, what is needed, she gives. What is the aspiration? Now, what is the aspiration? Aspiration is. Can someone just tell me what can be an aspiration for a person? What is this that she's analyzing? The aspiration. Is it good job, promotions, or well-being of only family members? May this person become like that? That what is the yes, Charulata ji? Yes, ma'am.
The utilization of it, that's what I'm just thinking aloud with you. That the when you realize the need, is your consciousness rising to a level
Hmm.
that is the aspiration.
Yes. So the
The
rising of
goal of
consciousness,
the
isn't
need,
it?
the goal the need is taking me to.
Yes, yes, yes. What is it that I am aspiring to for? And it is said low aim is a crime. So we should try, we should aspire for the highest. There's nothing
Her
wrong in
grace,
aspiring. Yes, Rachna ji?
her grace, her
Agree.
bhakti,
Uh,
and
her?
her bhakti and
Okay.
mukti from Maya,
Hmm. Okay. Yes.
the veil of ignorance.
Hmm. Ji.
And
Okay.
she is the one. If we surrender, she is the one who has the power to, or the grace to, take away the veil of ignorance.
Yes, yes. So, and
So
if
if
it is
we
actually in
aspire,
inward, yes, you please continue. Yes,
then we should aspire for the highest that is
yes,
possible, that is her grace.
yes, yes. And this is important. Aspiration is like that fire. Like in the Rig Veda, it begins with the flame of aspiration only. It is the Agni. Agnim me purohitam yajnasyam devarutvijam hotaram ratnadhatamam. The Agni is called the priest, the Purohit, and the giver of wealth. What is the wealth? What wealth is he giving? And it gives a Poshameva Dive Dive, the one which keeps growing day by day, it keeps growing. What is that wealth? That wealth is the height of consciousness. Agni is said to be like an intermediary in the Rig Veda. The job of Agni is what? It's like sending an invitation card to the Devas. All of them are invited. Come, please come, come, descend into this realm. For what? Because see, this soul is having that fire to rise. And look at how the flame is, no? It is always rising from bottom to up. Agni means itself, the root word in Sanskrit itself, moving forward, progressing, going ahead. Somebody who does not know the Sanskrit word but understands the root can also recognize, ki, yeah, yes, what is it that is moving upwards in this room? It is this fire. So, yes, this is Agni. Something like that. This mother is also able to identify the divine mother. Maheshwari is able to see this is the soul's aspiration. Look at the struggle. Look at that plant which is trying to grow despite this from the cracks in a cement. But see that aspiration is there. No? All these struggles, all these hurdles, all these, I think in life, each of us has a different story, isn't it? If we actually look at it, all of us have some story of struggle also, but it is through that struggle only that they are going to rise. And she sees behind that struggle, she sees, see, in spite of all of this person is trying to come towards me. This person is trying to grow the consciousness. Opportunity, this person is trying to squeeze it out through the difficult moments. Why will I not, why should I not bless this child who is seeking this consciousness? I will bless that. So she sees that aspiration. And then there's one more aspect is the receptivity. Receptivity is also one very important part in our sadhana. Because what happens many times, mentally we learn to block off grace also. Because we are trapped in our own mind. Once you're in the right place, you've got a chance, you have a good aspiration also, but you don't have receptivity. Like now in our village, we have lots of, means there are people, farmers are there are people who are growing cattle also. So what do is they give different feed. Cattle feed is given. But the complaint is what? गाय दूध नहीं दे रही है इतना खा रही है but दे नहीं रही है means what is the problem is there's no transmission, which is what we can say conversion is not there. What is being received, that is not being assimilated, that is not being converted. It is something like that because grace is there for everybody who receives it. It can be received at any time and any place. It only depends on whether the individual is receptive. Why is the individual not receptive? Because the individual's mind is preoccupied in different things. That's why the person is going astray, running after certain desires, or feeling this is not why grace should function, or sometimes giving diktats also. Grace should function like this only. Like people go no, to the hotel and give an order. I want this particular item, make it like this, make it like that. Can we do the same thing with grace? No, this is not according to me. It has to come this way only. I want that person to change, then I will become happy, then I will do this, then I will do that, and full domino effect we plan. This is how it's going to happen. But Adhyatmic sadhana is done by the divine. We are just instruments. Many people say, I want to do something for God. What Namleji had asked, what are you going to do to one sadhak? Because he said, I want to do something for God. What, you're going to give a bath? What work, what are you going to do for God? See, first you do for yourself. Get ready to receive. Time is ripe right now. Most auspicious time is coming up, and are you going to receive the grace or you are not? So, this is the third thing which she sees. The mother looks at receptivity also. She analyzes it. And to those who heed her call, meaning those who listen to the call is there for everybody to hear. I think there was a beautiful quote, I think, in ashram only by the mother, I think, or Sri Aurobindo. Rare is the one who hears the call. Rarer is the one who pays heed to it. Meaning this call, the Adhyatmic call is there for everybody. That comes to everyone. Most of the time, people are not able to hear it only because they are too busy. Namleji had the chance to go and chant Vedic mantras in front of children with special needs. Afterwards, a doctor also who is now doing big research got big award for the same research mantras. He has also listened. But a person who is chanting can understand. Like that, Namleji went and he says, these children have understood from the soul domain. They were able to, they were receiving it. Most people, he said, have this ability to hear, ability to see, ability to think, but they are not capable of using these senses. And children, they are saying, are not receptive. And really, we got the experience. We saw transformations just by listening, by the effect of mantras. So, this aspect is something which we have to be able to hear. Because first is we are not hearing because we are in rush, we are in a hurry. If you are silent, you can hear. No, sometimes people go to the sea also and they don't hear the sound of the sea waves at all. Why? They're running after different things. They are busy talking to somebody else. They're busy going, what am I going to eat next? What is this? Look at that. Look at this. Just 5 minutes silence to experience the beautiful meditative silence can be experienced in the waves. Some people have even heard the rhythm of Om Dhvani in that quietude. But otherwise, the moment is just gone, just like that, in the rush and in the excitement. So rare is the one who hears the call. Then some people hear the call. They don't pay heed to it. हाँ ठीक है. Yeah, I think I should go on the spiritual path. But no, no, not now, not now. I think Panchanga is telling me my good, we can say now this is the Mahadasha which will come. That will come after I'm 66. So I'm just waiting for that period. Right now, I will not. 66 becomes 96 also, that period will not come. Because this person does not want, for not paying heed, meaning the call has come and yet the person is not paying heed. They don't receive it. It is actually unfortunate because it is like, God comes and knocks. We say Atithi Devo Bhava. Yes, God comes like Atithi in our life. He rings, he knocks on the door. You say, I'm busy right now, we'll see you later. He comes again, he comes twice, thrice, 4 times, but finally he sees that this door is not going to open. This person has decided not to take me in. And slowly that grace starts, this moves away actually. And that's a difficult situation. We will see that little bit more pronounced in the case of some other powers. But Maheshwari, she's there and she's ready. When somebody is receptive, then she immediately, her force is available. When a reception is there, that force is received and that force exerts exerts a pressure onto that individual. When that force comes, there is a pressure. But what happens because of the pressure? A molding of consciousness takes place, a molding of that person's personality takes place. Because without pressure, what's going? No, nothing will happen. It is required. So that is what she does. She transforms. But for those who don't, she allows them to walk on their path. No, no, no. I don't need higher consciousness. For me, my drinks are giving me highest consciousness. This is the maximum spiritual I can be. She says, okay, have fun. Go ahead. She does
Um,
not come and intervene in between. Yes, Rashnaji, you're saying something?
I wanted to ask about line 24.
Yeah.
To ignoramuses seeking freedom, she lets them disappear and deform. I mean, that is the
Yeah.
same thing you said, like
Yes, yes.
freedom,
Seeking
freedom
freedom
the
in the
body.
sense this is not the higher freedom. This is not the higher freedom. This is the freedom from her influence, freedom from the divine. Like there was this gang which would say, Hame chahiye azadi. We will take that azadi. From what? Exams? Azadi from azadi from coming to hostel. All these were the directions of these young college students. But it was what we can say, not a just one. No? Here the freedom in the sense I want to be free of the divine. I want to be independent of the divine's influence. She says, okay. Krishna has also told ultimately, yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. Do as you please. Even the divine does not intervene beyond that.
And
So
the
it is
word
like that.
deform,
Deform is this is deforming. This is distortion of the higher consciousness because everybody is meant to rise on the higher consciousness, but there is a force which is a lower force which sometimes people yield to it, and then that personality gets deformed, no? Without the touch of divine. Without the touch of the divine, a person, sometimes we may see some people in our own life, how they were and how they have become. What has happened? A deformation has happened. Vikruti in Sanskrit, that word is there. That she says, Acha, theek hai. People become hardened then in that direction only. And she does not. She does not intervene because then this person will have to go through his karmic cycle, her karmic cycles. Then she cannot, because the divine cannot function without the sanction of the instrument also. This is one important thing. Just like how a patient also has to be operated on, has to give sanction to the divine. So this is her aspect. She allows them. Next, let us continue further. Though she is above the world and everything, free from any bind.
Sorry,
Uh, yeah, yes, please, Reshmaji.
ignoramuses. I just want you to elaborate.
Ignoramus. Ignoramus is just a word for an ignorant person who is
Acha, ignorant.
dwelling in that.
Acha, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Though she is above the world and everything, free from any bind, hers is the heart of the Mother Universal, caring and kind. So I think Vinita ji was also saying the same thing. She is allowing the person to walk on a different path also. For what reason? Because she understands, but she cares also. Her heart is a universal mother's heart. Sometimes it is very painful, no, for the mother, but we don't understand the mother's pain. As a child, we only see our side. We don't see that side of the story. But here she is in her silence, but she cares, but she still is little detached. Gita also talks about it. Asakta, it is something asakta, becoming non-attached. Or asanga. It's like one, it's called a weapon in one adhyaya, I think it is where we see the, I think 15th adhyaya, the inverted Ashwata, where everybody get trapped in emotions and there's only one weapon which can free us from this. Asanga shastrena dhrudena chitva. Cut those bonds with that weapon of detachment, Krishna says. Then only you will become free. Later on, with that same asanga also becomes mukta sangha afterwards in the Gita. It is a free union where you are united and yet free. So she cares, she has feelings also, though she is in that high state of consciousness, she is caring and loving also. Limitless is the flow of her compassion. All are her children and one. Means it is, she's everybody. Everybody, like there is this one in a Gita work, we had a mother who shared her experience of giving a punishment to her child. She asked the child to leave the home. She's just, this was a very difficult, no, for a mother to tell that. So she says, I only know what I went through while giving this punishment, but this was required because the child had come in wrong influence and was going on a wrong path. She said, leave my home. Everybody said she is heartless. Her entire society, people said, this is one mother who does not care about her child. How can you leave your own child and son and ask him to leave the home and all? And he actually went out of home for over a period of probably 2, 3 months. She had the most difficult time. And then 3 months later, he came back and he came back. He hugged his mother and he said, I learned from the world, whom I thought were my friends were not. I understood this. Thank you for that. Punishment is the last word. He said, and she said that day she had flow of tears. But all those days she was holding on. Why? Because she cared, but she understood this importance. That is why sometimes detachment is so important. If we really love, we should learn to detach also. Otherwise, it's just an emotional, what we can say, a serial which comes on TV, no? That is all that is going on in our relationship. Just emotions take over. It is just going to stretch, but the higher truth will never be realized, not by any party at all. And that is why this mother remains in that consciousness. And her flow of compassion, how is it? Limitless. Limitless is the flow of her compassion. All are her children and one. From the Deva to the Asura, Rakshasa and Pishacha, she sees distinctions none. For a mother, mother's child is mother's child, no matter what the world calls. You call him Deva, call him Asura, call him Pishacha, Rakshasa, everything. My child is my child. Her compassion is one for all. There was a very mischievous boy in my school. Now I cannot call him like he's a good established doctor, but in class he was very, very mischievous, and all teachers had complained, and he was always up to something or the other. But in the parent teacher meeting, when our class teacher complained, his mother immediately, my son is an angel. And she told that in class, and the entire class burst out laughing. This person, his mother is calling him angel. Well, this is something, this divine mother, Maheshwari, looks at all as one. Even these, what we say, we think Pishacha, Rakshasa, what are they? They don't have and they don't deserve any chance to progress, or they are worst of worst. Naradhama, whatever names we want to call, we call that. But no, for the Divine Mother, she gives her compassion is for them also. She gives them also a chance to come out of that, to rise and progress. That is why all bow to the Divine. If there's a beautiful shloka in the Aditya Hridaya, which it is to that Supreme Surya, but the Divine Surya's refulgence is like that, which everybody bows to that. रश्मिमन्तं समुद्यन्तं देवासुरनमस्कृतं पूजयामि विभस्वन्तं Bhaskaram Bhuvaneshwaram. It is like that. This mother's grace, when it is visible, everybody will bow, even the Deva, even the Asura. It is like that, and for her, all are one. She sees the need. Now it's needed, my grace will go there. Aspiration is there, yes, receive it. And then transformation also takes place. Even the hostile forces and influences that try to reject, she does not mind. It's like that rejecting the force. That also she doesn't mind. Even the hostile forces and influences that try to reject, she does not mind. Various ways for her compassion to touch them, she does verily find. This is the mother. बेटा करेले की सब्जी नहीं खाएगा ठीक है I'll put a little bit of jaggery in it. Sweet, sweet, it's sweet. Come, taste, you like it. So she just tries this way, that way, that way. She just tries for her grace. Means this is something beautiful, isn't it? She's also patient, we can see, and she's vast. We don't understand her ways, but her love is there always into all. All are her children. And she just searches. If the mother is searching for ways, I think we should immediately grab them, isn't it? When we get that, we have to. Whichever way it is we are going to receive, let us connect. Let us connect. That is important. Even her rejection, penalty, or deference are but veils of her care. All her judgments are lessons for mortals to better fare. So, what is it? These are all judgments, all her punishments, also, whatever they are. It is like a teacher who is angry, but angry for a just cause. So sometimes you see somebody shouting, also, you say, ah, yeah, right. This person is doing this angry just for bringing about a change in me. Not really angry for personally or this person's taking. It is just for bringing about that change in consciousness. That is why her punishments are also there. They are just the love of mother. All her judgments are lessons for mortals to better fare. But nay, she cannot be by her own graciousness misled. Her path and actions course are unmoved as she forges ahead. So again, you cannot cheat or fool. If you can, it's like children always know, mother, they know this is the weakness. This is mother's weakness. So immediately once it is found, I used to also do that to my mother. There was one song, Kya main itna bura hu main, I would say, and she would melt. And then she started holding my ear. This is not going to work anymore for me. Well, it is like this. Maheshwari is not going to be taken away by these emotional or some other, we can say, cheating and all of that cannot work in front of her. She has that consciousness. She understands it, and she's never misled. And her path, and she does not change. She does not change her judgment. Somebody we think are very important, please don't give such a serious punishment. No, she has decided this is required and this is the thing. She will not change. She will not change slightest also. So that is why people feel she's too far away. Because what is this? We need somebody who is going to adjust a little bit at least, but no, that is not. She wants you to change. She will work according to that only. Her path and actions course are unmoved as she forges ahead. Powered by her wisdom, only for establishing truth in the creation, Maheshwari strives tirelessly for the soul nature's truthward transformation, for establishing the ideal of truth. Means, what is the role of Maheshwari? What is her role? To establish truth. In what? In this Bhuloka itself. That is her role and her entire work. In our life, how do we establish truth, or what will be the consequence of establishing truth, or how can we relate to establishing truth in our life? Anybody? This question is, how do we establish truth in our lives? Mother is establishing in the universe. That is her purpose. So she is working on each individual on a separate level, a unique. I mean, it's like a personal level with everyone. She is trying to bring that truth to manifest. But for us, where is this truth essential, or how is it relevant, and how where can we look at manifesting truth?
Follow our
Anyway,
conscience. Follow the
yes,
voice of
Niritaji?
follow the voice of your conscience.
Okay, yes, that is towards working towards manifesting truth. But I'm just saying in everyday life, where would we want to manifest that truth? Where do we want truth to be
So
manifested?
identify your next immediate ideal, what you aspire for, basically. It all
Okay,
again, it starts with need, aspiration, and only
okay.
then we can be receptive.
Now,
So
I
establishing truth means to identify, to be able to identify true purpose of a
okay,
life
all right. Okay, that
Uh,
is one thing
and then
Reshma ji
aspire
is saying.
towards it.
Okay, all right. Yes, Aditi ji is saying something. Yes, ji?
by being self-aware.
Okay, so by being self-aware, you can understand the truth, meaning what is
We
good
can,
in me, what is bad in me, I need to recognize it. I
yeah,
should
we can
not
reach the
Photoshop or
truth.
airbrush certain. Yes, please continue,
We
ji.
can reach the root of
We
our
can,
own.
okay. So yeah, in our own personality, if we look inside, this is where I am not correct. That is the last place I look, isn't it? I can see how that person's singing is not up to the mark, how this person's talking is not up to the mark, how that person's movement or progress. This person has done great work, but it's a good effort. See, that transformation is not there. We say, but about ourselves, we don't see. So that is one
I
interesting
think
point.
being
Aditi ji
best
has.
versions of ourselves, trying to be the
Yes. So
best
that is
versions of
something.
ourselves.
So when we can be truthful to ourselves, isn't it? Truthful to ourselves. My limitation and my shortcomings also, I should be able to look with the same eye, just as I look at the goodness of myself. I don't get overexcited by what is good and depressed by what is bad. If I understand what is bad, I'm going to be truthful and try to start molding it. There is the pressure of the divine which is going to help in transform it. So let me become truthful. That's one nice point shared by Aditi and Reshma ji. Yes, Rachna ji, you're adding something?
uh, uh, Establishing truth in the creation may also mean that in our everyday work, whatever we are doing, we do it in the best possible way, in the way that, even if God appears in front of us, we can't do it any better. So
Okay. So that's a
through
beautiful
through
aspect.
our work, through our doings,
Through our
through our
actions.
transactions, everyday transactions,
Hmm. Ah,
whichever, being
okay.
sincere in the daily transactions with whoever we are doing.
Yes, yes, yes. So that is also establishing truth in little
You could
actions.
also add that offer, whatever, offer
Okay,
the same as it
offering is
offer.
one way we can start establishing truth in our actions. But what can we offer, Reshma ji? You are talking about offering of which action?
The whole process, I mean, I want to be the best version of myself. I offer this
Yeah,
to her, the Maheshwari. Help me. Offer
means
and seek, basically.
no, means what can I offer in general while I'm doing in everyday life? Regular
So,
actions?
yeah, of course.
Regular actions also
regular,
can be
whatever my
offered.
whole,
Okay,
yeah,
so
and
every
day to day,
action.
every action, everything
Okay, so that can become an
we can
offering. I
offer.
think, like how in Shiva Manas Puja it is said, Yad Yad Karma Karomi Tadakhilam Shambho Tavaradhanam. Every karma. Some people offer in such a state they reach that even their swear words become words of transformation elsewhere. They become mantras. There were some yogis in Maharashtra. People would go to get their darshana and they would use strong words, harsh words, and people would go to receive those harsh words like their Amrita Vachana because inside of them some kind of tamas, some kind of ignorance would run away by those strong words. So this, but why that person was in that state of higher consciousness? So I'm not taking the name because for obvious reasons. Otherwise, some followers may get disturbed. You should not say like that. So X, Y, Z. But if you do a little study, you'll find out easily. So this aspect is offering of everything. Same way, how about meaning establishing truth in our relationships? Is that also possible? Manifesting that truth or establishing a truth in relationships also?
Yeah, the mantra of the mother, do not pretend, be
Do not pretend, be. So how beautiful it
three
is.
words. Three words.
Yes, yes, yes. It is so nice.
So
It
in
is so easy
relationship,
and
that certainly
it's
works. Definitely, it
important,
has
isn't it?
seriously.
It is important, isn't it? So maybe we can try to establish at least one truth relationship in life. One. One which is absolutely in truth consciousness. Then it would be a divine relationship. Will transcend everything. Kala also. It will transcend time, it will transcend boundaries of space. You don't have to be in physical proximity, and yet fully connection will remain. So yes, this is manifesting of truth, and it happens in different places. So this is the role of Maheshwari. It is by Maheshwari's grace. We also receive that grace. We also start becoming more graceful in our movements, more graceful in our talks, more graceful in our thoughts, more graceful in little things. When that grace starts flowing through us, so all we need to do is to seek her. And while seeking her, do we feel intimidated by her because she is so vast, or she's not that so intimidating? Isn't it? Maheshwari is vast. We don't fully understand, but she's that way. Okay. All right. But now there's one goddess. Yes,
She's
Rashmaji.
so vast. Personally, I feel being a part of her, whatever
You
little,
feel we are okay. You feel like you are part of the
part of
Maheshwari's
her and not intimidating
vastness.
aspect. Yeah.
Okay, so that is one very nice thing. Anybody else would like to share your what you feel about this? Because we have just completed what is the role of Maheshwari. We had meditated upon her vastness. We saw so many people who are, what we can say, in that image. There were so many who were sitting and trying to do her upasana, and there was quietude, there was peace. So overall feeling was just calm and not intimidating, but too vast to understand, isn't it? A Saumya, but still a Virata at the same time. It is that was her bhava. But then there is one goddess who is intimidating. She is special. Let us just look at an image of that goddess. Anybody? Yes.
Mahakali.
Mahakali.
Yes, Mahakali. What does this, since if we just meditate on this image for some time, what does it bring to us? Mahakali's Rupa. Do we feel that calmness, the vastness of Maheshwari, that silence, looking at Mahakali?
It's rage.
Yes, Rachnaji?
It's rage, and even
Ha.
her fingers are like she would want to maybe devour or remove whatever is not
Yes.
the truth. She
Okay,
will
so
not be that.
rage. There is rage, no? There is rage and okay. So and revenge also something like that it feels, isn't it? Taking some kind of immediately she's taking something she's not happy with, and so
I
she's
guess
uh,
more towards punishment.
towards punishment. Okay, Reshma ji says towards punishment. Anybody else?
It's all
Yeah, I like what Rachna said. The fingers,
Ah,
absolutely
is going to tear.
ready to.
Right.
It's in
Yes,
action.
yes.
She is in action and
You
absolutely ready.
can say it's a Ugra Rupa, while one was Shanta.
Absolutely.
This is absolutely a Jajwalya, Ugra, fire, and we can say death, we can see goriness, all of it. Anybody would like to add some more comments?
that instrument on her hand, like the ball.
Hmm.
mm, That's also something that I have never seen.
I think
Maybe
that's the vessel where she's collecting those bija, rakta
tapal.
bija,
Yeah, so
if I'm
it
not
is like it is just pulling everything into it, and it is something it's become dark because of by virtue of that receiving all of it, isn't it? And she is still
yeah.
not pacified. Yes, anybody else
After
would like to comment?
Causes some
complete
fear in
aggression.
the
Okay, yes, I
hearts
think
of the
Chitraji
wrongdoers.
started. It causes fear
In the hearts of the wrongdoers.
in the hearts of wrongdoers. It causes the fear. Okay, but what about non-wrongdoers, Chitraji?
Feels that, I mean, more protected. I mean, she is there to take care of.
Okay, acha. So you feel a little bit of protection also. Means, yeah, this is Mahakali. Okay, that is interesting. So in the Rudra Rupa, there is nothing to be feared if our heart is clear, is it, Chitraji?
Yes,
Yeah, that is how I feel.
Okay, that is how you feel. Probably
as
indicatory of your heart is clear, so you are not afraid. Maybe. Yes, please. Yes, Rishnaji is adding something.
in the Narsimha avatar,
Hmm.
it's the same thing. Prahlad is protected,
Ha, ha,
whereas
ha.
Kashyapa is, the darkness is removed. But
Yeah, yeah.
Prahlad, even like, yeah,
He's playing on the lap, no, of Narasimha. He's so happy sitting like with the love. He has nothing. Hiranyakashipu is frustrated and he's afraid and all of it, and that is the end of his. That is how, I think that is why we have Ugra Rupas also, no? Various deities. We have Ugra Devatas also, just as how Shanta Devata is there. How Saumya Rupa are there, like that we have the Ugra Rupas also.
Yeah, as in Shani is there,
Ha, Shani Maharaj is there,
Narsimha is there,
Narasimha is there.
Narsimha.
Shani is also
Prahlad,
sometimes very slow and Shanta according to many also.
Yes,
Nilanjana
yes.
Samabhasam. Yes,
It
he's
is, I
slow.
think, the time period which
Yes. Shanaihi
matters.
charati iti Shanishcharan. So he goes slowly. But there is somebody who is Ugra
Kal
also.
Bhairav,
Kala Bhairav is there, Rachna ji has said. And among the grahas, if you want to see, Mangal Graha is like that.
If if you see this picture, it's like to whom she wants to take revenge or give punishment. They are
Hmm.
not giving up. You can see here. They are not. They're
Ha!
still trying to.
They're still
They
trying to
don't seem
oppose,
to be
and
giving
she
up,
is
and
hardly, she's just
probably
there.
That's the reason she's raising herself in terms of her
Yes,
Ugra Rupa
yes,
more and more
yes,
to
yes, yes,
tend to
absolutely,
that.
Her
absolutely.
eyes also look as though she's, warning you.
Focused. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's like if you see, even in the grahas also, each of the grahas, if you understand, they have their roles, they have their personalities, they have their facets, which we can understand. Raudram Raudratmukam Ghoram Tam Ketum Pranamam. It is like that. Another person is like Mangal is again said to be forceful one. Here we see in Mahakali all the forces. We see her weapon, we see destruction, we see destroying forces. We also see ugliness being pushed, being crushed. I think it is very interesting how Chitraji said there's nothing to fear. If you see in
Yes.
the Bhagavad Gita also, there was a Ugra Rupa. Anybody knows about that? The Ugra Rupa in the Gita?
Uh,
The
Krishna was
Vishwarupa Darshan,
swallowing.
it is in.
Yes, Dr. Vaishali?
In Vishwarupa Darshan, Ugra Rupa shown, and Arjuna was afraid of that.
Okay, so Arjuna was afraid, and I think first because if you see, we'll just look at that for a moment and then we will conclude because we will look at Mahakali separately in the next workshop. We will enter into that. So if you see in the Ugra, in the sense, the fearsome Rupa. If you see the Supreme Purusha in the Ved also is described as Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, Sahasraksha Sahasrapa. So many heads, so many hands, countless. Arjuna just had heard that, there is a Vishwarupa, and he thought now Krishna is giving his close to him, offering his grace. Let me understand. And he begs, he requests, and such a sweet way he requests that show me. Krishna says, Acha, okay, I will show you. And then his fear, everything. Initially, he's so happy as the Rupa begins to manifest. He says, Ah, beautiful. Brahma is just looking like so graceful in that lotus. I can see different devas all emanating from his beloved friend. He's seeing a live darshana of all the devatas in his Vishwarupa. And suddenly it starts becoming Ugra. He sees all the heroes, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, all of them are being pulled into a mouth of fire. And how bad is it? It becomes gory between huge tusks. He sees bleeding heads and all of his own teachers and everything. It becomes too much for him. And then he makes a confession in his fear. He says a beautiful line, Sanatanastvam Purusho Mato Me. He says, I'm first doing Namaskar. Then he's scared because he doesn't understand whether that Vishwarupa is in front of him or behind him. He says, he starts doing in all Dashadisha Namaskar because he shouldn't feel bad. He's seeking forgiveness. And then he says, Sanatanastvam Purusho Matome. The boss who was saying in first adhyay of the Gita that Sanatan Dharma is going to get destroyed if I participate in the battle. Krishna, were you greedy? All of this. Suddenly he says, Oh, you are the guardian. You are the guardian. Because you are the guardian, this Dharma is eternal. So many years and so many centuries, people have tried to destroy our roots. Why have they failed? Because this force like Mahakali is so strong, breaking everything. And how powerful is the Mahakali force? She can create out of nothing and she can destroy everything also. Omkari Srishti Rupai, Rimkari Pratipalika, Klimkari Kamarupinni, Bija Rupe Namostute is how she is in the, we can say, Siddha Kunjika Stotra, her powers are described. From one Bija mantra, she can create a Srishti. That is her power. So she is not afraid. She's not afraid to crush, or it's like she'll just, what we can say, scorched. She'll scorch everything to restart because where she sees, we will see her qualities a little bit in detail. What are her powers? Just like how we saw Maheshwari. But this is one more facet we must understand. And why we are looking at four powers is because we have to imbibe those powers. Like as we approach, no? What is the indication? Indication of your moving towards the divine is fearlessness coming in. That is one of the stage, abhayam. That is the first in the qualities which Krishna tells in the Gita also. But as we go ahead, like that, we need the grace of Maheshwari in our lives. We need to get that quietude. And like that, what is Mahakali's, we have to now find out. We have seen what Maheshwari's grace can do. Yes, Dr. Vaishaliji, you're adding something?
Yeah, right now Mahakumbha is going on in Prayagraj. So whenever you see that Naga sadhus or aghoris,
Ah,
so they
yes,
are just you remind of this Mahakali. They are the
yes,
protectors, but they are fearful. So they have taken part in so many yuddhas that they have saved the Sanatan Dharma. At
yes, yes,
whenever
yes.
whether it's fighting with Mughals or like, so they
Yeah,
are
so
the.
that was a big layer, like an army only of, so we can say, coming to the rescue anytime that was required, anytime there was invasion. They would come from the Himalayas and everybody was afraid. They don't need anything. Everybody wears armors and everything. These people are not wearing clothes also. They are having their weapons and they were, what we can say, in their own laya, Laya of what? In that Raudra Laya only going inside of that. So this is something, it is important to understand Mahakali's force also. What is it? We will be looking at all four powers. We will try to see how we can imbibe or anything. And then we'll see what we'll do after getting those four powers. What are we supposed to do with that as well? But right now we stopped at Maheshwari. Maheshwari is vast. She's very next to Maheshwari only is Mahakali. Just adjacent to this great, vast calmness. Arjuna also, you see, he was so afraid afterwards that he said, no, 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 please give me that Chaturbhuja Darshana, that Saumya Darshana. It is very nice. I have heard Shankha, Chakra, Gada, all of that will give me. He immediately gets that also because Krishna is so loving. He says, Acha, take it, tathastu. You want that? I will give you that darshan. He becomes very happy, becomes so happy. But many in the Tantra Marga also have the do Upasana of Krishna. Even in the Vama Marga, people do the Upasana of Krishna because he is so powerful as well. Like Mahakali, Krishna is also one more side. But in the Vishwarupa, there's a beautiful aspect. If you study the Bhagavad Gita, especially the Vishwarupa Darshana, you will see that there's only one group of persons who are not afraid, who are not finding the Vishwarupa, which is making even the Rudras, the we can say Vedic Devatas are described. They have also suddenly become frozen and transfixed. Ashwins, Maruts, Rudras, all of them. What is Rudra? Rudra is the force of like a storm, which cannot be stopped. Name itself, Uchchair Ghoshaya Krandayate iti Rudra. Rudra is that which is screaming loudly and going like a horrible storm. But that also pauses in front of this force of the Vishwarupa. It is that Mahakali's force only in the Vishwarupa. It is the same thing. It is that one only. So, which is that one? We'll just look at that point. If anybody can, who did not get afraid of the Vishwarupa in the Gita?
The beings who have attained Siddhi, they
Ha, yes, Vinitaji is perfectly. Siddha Sangaha. They have nothing to lose. They are in that oneness. They are in the oneness with the divine. They have nothing to lose. Whatever is the divine will, let it be done. Those who are in that state, they will never be afraid of Mahakali also or any Rudra Rupa. They probably might even feel a loving grace, the same love that one may feel from Mahalakshmi. They may see that same loving grace in Mahakali as well. So let us see when we now enter in the next session, we will touch what is the force of Mahakali. We'll try to understand that. And then after we complete why we are having this entire workshop is also because we are not trying to suddenly activate certain things and immediately let us now this person has used some force on me, so let us now use this mantra. That all you will find in different places. What are we going to call goddess? If we call goddess to do our work, understand you have consequences also. You call Mahalakshmi, it's fine. But Mahalakshmi also, if she is not happy, she quickly goes away. Then what's going to happen? Those who have called with a Swarthi mind will suddenly feel, oh, this is not a good business deal at all. Better stay away is what they say. So what is it? What are we want to see practically one by one? And Sri Aurobindo's the mother is very good, and there's one very senior sadhak plus a good Sanskrit teacher as well connected with Sri Aurobindo's philosophy. Dr. Sampananda Mishra. He also says if you want to study the Vedas also, no, reading the mother makes it easy. The book The Mother by Sri Aurobindo. How, what? I think if you study, you will understand. There's a beautiful, there's a beautiful network also of divine. You will start accessing it. So that is why we want to connect with the divine, so that we become receptive. And after, if you get it, is there is no difference. It's like when the base is very strong. Somebody's base is strong, fundamentals are strong. A novice can also challenge a master. Don't you agree? If the fundamentals are perfectly correct, will the fundamentals change because this person has more experience? No, it will remain the same. So that is what we are trying to focus on. Maybe after why this, I also don't know why this workshop is taking place. But my Guruji has given green signal, so for me, I am going ahead in this workshop. But what is it? How? Let us just try to see, let us try to understand. Maybe somebody will only give us a direction afterwards. But let us now with this we conclude. If somebody can
I would
just
just add, I
summarize.
think
Yes,
that
ma'am.
network has started, what you said.
Ji,
That's why this workshop.
Ji, Hari Om, Namaste. So, can we somebody summarize what we saw today? Something about Maheshwari, and then we conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Anything, any points? Yes,
We
Rachna
saw
ji.
how dispassionate Maheshwari is.
Sorry?
She's not. She's not one to. We saw how dispassionate Maheshwari is. She is not one to go by emotions or anything. She just. It's what you do. That is your also your consequence. It is exactly according to your action. Action and reaction are the same. It's almost as if it's tathastu in everything. So even if you're not wanting her grace, she's okay with, even with that. So that was the
That's
most
a
vital.
dangerous thing, no? That is a dangerous aspect also, isn't it? If we
Yeah,
walk
but
on the path of ignorance, we will not know unless we are receptive. We have a tendency to walk further away from the divine and face the consequences then.
so then that will help us to learn some lessons, and it might take us some time, but after the karmic cycle is over, then we
Okay.
come back because ultimately we all come back to the divine even after maybe number of lifetimes.
Yes. So this is one more aspect that she finds ways to somehow bring us back on the track. Isn't it, Rachnaji? That is one more beautiful property which we have understood.
Yes,
That it's
yes.
all right, let's not continuously curse our luck or curse our wrong. Let us try to correct and go on the right path. That is probably redemption is possible at all times if we seek the divine. All right. Yes. Any
But
other point? Yeah.
uh, even in some of uh, the avatars have taken place because they had to kill the uh, Rakshasas who were
Ah.
once, cursed or something. They came to the earth.
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे Krishna says. So it is again for establishing the consciousness of dharma or consciousness of truth.
Even when they were cursed, they had come to the earth. Even Hiranyakashipu and his brother or something, they had come to the earth. But then Narasimha Avatar, the compassion was that when God touches you and kills you, then you will attain moksha.
Hmm. जी जी. All right.
So
Yes,
even if
जी.
you're on the wrong path, that might also be something.
Yes, yes. There's always a chance. There's always a chance to come back onto the right path, and that is always there in our Sanatan scriptures also. Nobody is eternally damned or cursed permanently. That is something beautiful, innately beautiful in Sanatan Dharma. Even as what we can say, worst sinner can be transformed. And that knowledge burns, and knowledge is like fire. What does fire do? It burns everything to ashes. It is like that. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram na vidyate. It is also most pure. So it bhasmasat kurute Arjuna is what Krishna says. Jnanagni dagdha karmanam. All karmas are also burnt by that fire, burnt to ashes, and then the new transformation comes. So yes, this much we do understand that never are we going to be forsaken if we are sincere and we listen to the call. Yes, dear. All right. I think with this, we let us conclude with the Shanti mantra. After which, if any queries are there, they are welcome, or we close the session after that. Hari Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम तत्सत् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् yes हरि ओम
Dio.
yes namaste हरि ओम and if any queries are there they are welcome or we conclude the session.
Can I ask?
Yes ma'am. Yes ji.
when you say that you evoke when you want calmness, how does one evoke?
It is by withdrawing from the flux of activity and going inward. Like I think how Sri Aurobindo says, no, it is in the calm that the divine works. So generally, when we need calmness, it is basically when we are in a lot of pressure, in a lot of, we can say, some kind of bandhana is there. And normally, these are the times when people say you cannot meditate. Actually, it is the opposite. These are the moments where you can easily detach yourself if you take the right steps. So probably withdraw and sometimes even summoning the force, no? For that, our emotions have to be checked. If our emotions are not in our control, then we cannot evoke. Means Gita talks about some techniques of meditation. Krishna has told them we can do that. For some people, it's just the smarana, means the smarana of the Aradhya, no? Thinking of the Aradhya also with a strong feeling, ki, save me from this. This simple thought means there are mantras like, for example, in the Datta Sampradaya, Atri Putro Mahatejo Dattatreyo Mahamuni Tasya Smarana Matrena Sarva Papai Pramunchate. Means the Smaran itself is so powerful, meaning remembering Ma or the mother, or there is sometimes a lot of bad things happening. There's a quotation of the mother only. In the name of the mother, by the power of the mother, by the strength of the mother, to all harmful or adverse forces, I order and ask to leave this place at once and forever. Now, if you are able to read that with the same smaran, you can actually even hear the voice, and that time you will feel suddenly the harmful forces also have disappeared. But for that, we have to be receptive. Receptive to the divine force and not receptive to anything else. Otherwise, there was one person we had met in Thane just randomly in the park. He came and said, somebody and this marriage I have gone, somebody has done karni or something, some mantrik, something has been done on me. And so I'm having failure in all my business, I'm failure in job, I'm having money problems, all of this. And that person was trapped in that cycle. It was not really whether the person has done it or not, because we stayed in touch with that person for a long time, over a period of 1 year. The person had the tendency of always visualizing and fearing over things which are not true. So that person, simplest thing was told to him was to do some making the mind strong and learn to come out of the emotions. But that person never did any of it. So he was not able to become calm. But if we learn and we just invoke suddenly, I think we remembering something very nice immediately brings us calmness, Nuji. In a difficult moment, just remembering something nice. Like I can remember, like, ah, yes, I have this friend. This friend is going to help me. Or I have this, or maybe like sometimes my grandmother used to give an little bit curd in a before the maths exam. Maths exam was always a source of lot of pressure. And her mantra was, "Don't worry, you will pass." She had herself not studied in school. When my grandfather tried to make her go to school, she said, "I will make 50 chapatis more, but don't send me to school." But she would say, "You will pass." Now she is no more. But her face, her dialogue, even now, if I just think of her and "you will pass," it brings one great quietude inside. And it was very useful in the exams. And what passed, failed, I got 92% and she said, "Ha, you passed." No, that's all. For her, it didn't make a difference. But that bhava, or that moment I could connect with something and I could lose my immediate pressure. And so for me, maybe that became a symbol for me to connect. So we can search for a symbol, we can search for some, but if we, this is just, it is a force. We have to very strongly aspire, "Ki, I want to become peaceful." I remember my friend as an auditor, he was going to help in the very start. Because he had not yet become auditor, the auditor who was supposed to help had not given us any direction, and suddenly, with just within few months, he said, "Now there's going to be inspection." I said, "Hey, what is this? This person didn't tell me." He sat next to me and he started laughing. "No, now you are gone." I was like, "What do you mean I'm gone?" Then he said, "No, now we'll sit together." And then he really helped me and told me, "This is what you should keep, this is what," and that helped me. So I think these are all very practical, very what we can simpler examples. But Madam has asked about how to invoke. Maheshwari's calmness is just probably a fraction of that, but it's the same way. For me, like there is one mantra of mother only, Ma Amba, Lalita Devi, one beautifully sung mantra. That mantra gives me peace. I use it very specifically for my difficult moments, either when I have fever or when it's something very difficult, because I want to keep it like a Brahmastra for the difficult moments. I don't want to use it at all times. But that invokes a sense of calm and peace, which at least reduces the palpitations in the heart on the difficult moment. It allows me to see quietly what I want, because sometimes moments come where you are not able to deal with things. It happens to every one of us. But if we are getting carried away, then it's a problem, because God also will not be able to help us that time. So we have to find our ways. But Smaran, Chintan, Manan, and if we have a habit of dhyana, it is like as easy as turning on a fan, no? Button, just like that. Okay, now a very big news has come. You have to now suddenly do something, a lot of things more than what you are capable of. Just close your eyes and sit down and start focusing on your breath for some time. And when you come out, you'll be a different person. Just Shanta. That is the power of the Divine Mother. We just have to invoke. Yes, ji. Namaskaram, ji. So, Punar Milamaha. If anything else is to be asked, you are welcome, or we conclude today's workshop. Yeah. Namaskaram.